being saved. Salvation is simple. The next step through the door and into the house is the difficult part. Okay? It's those next steps that are the difficult part. The faith needs action. If you are truly spirit-filled, if you are God-filled, what is God? This is an L word. Love. Thank you. Actually, there were several of those mouthed and vocalized. God is love. If you have God in your heart, you have love. Is there any way to have hate? You can't. They cannot coexist. And we were just talking about that on Wednesday night. It's like, ooh, that's one of the hard ones to come up with. Perfect love is a perfect heart filled just with love so much that no matter what happens, that's all that comes out is still love. We can forgive easily and readily. We're not going to get mad at the French people for doing what they did. But then the next thing I see is, and Susan was talking about, she sent me a devotion, and then Susan Atkin reposted a devotion from someone else, or actually it was a letter on Facebook, about he was condemning what they did, but he's not condemning the Olympics. Because how many people are involved in the Olympics that didn't have anything to do with the opening ceremonies, and that atrocity is the easiest way I can say it. Many people. I mean, there are thousands of athletes competing. It's not their fault that what those people did. So while we do not care for them, we are not going to boycott the Olympics. That's like me saying, Sean, I'm tired of you. I don't want to see you sitting here again. I'm just going to turn my... No. Sean's a good guy. Just because he spilled some chocolate on my shoe, I'm not going to turn my back on him. He's a good person. All these athletes, they're good people. Support them. Don't support the people that directed that, whatever was going on. Anyway, that's my soapbox for today. The class meeting on Wednesday. Why do Methodists have this thing with food? It's what we do, and it helps us open up. You get relaxed when you're eating. I don't know, the endorphins and all that fun stuff. You're more relaxed. And so if you will think back to, we had alpha training some weeks ago, months ago now. And a lot of people stood up and said, yeah, I want to be part of alpha. Well, how are you going to be part of alpha? Are you just going to show up and all of a sudden we're good at it? Because alpha, after all, is, for those of you that don't know, we prepare a meal, have some conversation, ask and answer some difficult questions. There is no book to study. There is no Bible reading. I mean, we can open it up and point to things if somebody's asking about it and says, hey, in this book it says we could do that. But that's not what it's about. And it's not even about being at church. I've talked to Josh about it, and he said, yeah, it's probably best if we go someplace else, because a lot of people have an affinity for not wanting to darken the church doors. They said, I've seen the people that go in there, and I'm not proud of that. I don't want any part of them. So maybe they saw Isaac going into the bar. We talked about that before. Why is Isaac going into the bar? Oh, can you believe that? Well, if Isaac went into bars because somebody called him and said, dude, I need a ride. I can't make it. Or there was somebody else he wanted to go give a message to. So appearances aren't everything, but we are judged in a blink of an eye by people. So if we don't have it here, we have it somewhere else, maybe Kelly Hall or at the library, we might get more people to attend. If you want interesting reading, go look up Bus Wars. Britain Bus Wars. That was between the alpha people and the anti-alpha people. It's kind of funny reading. Brits, you never know what they're going to do. Fish and chips. But anyway, they open things up. Wednesday night, that's what it's about. It's about sharing. Yes, we have a book. We don't read from the book. We quote sometimes from it. Hey, what was your favorite line here? Or what did you get out of this section? But it's more about the free flow of information being changed back and forth. How did it make you feel? What's going on with you? Did that touch your heart? Or, that really got to me in this way. That's what the small groups are all about. The class meetings. I would love to see 20, 30 class meetings amongst people here. Anywhere from 6, 7, 8 people, 10. And just have a bunch of you that meet on a weekly basis. You just get together, you're holding each other accountable, you're holding each other up. We're strengthening each other. We are discussing things with them. We're sharing our faith. So back to Wesley, because it says Wednesday night, back to the Wesley way. What was his way? Inquiring about the state of your heart. He said the best way to keep people together is to have these meetings, because he had other folk that were even better speakers, even better preachers than he was, but their churches, their congregations fell apart after time because they did not have the connections that he encouraged all of his people to have. Those connections are the important part. But inquiring about each other's hearts. How is it with you today, Johnny? Things going okay?
Above average.
Outstanding. With the exception of that dang door, things are wonderful. That's what it's about. Connections, communication. So, what other actions can we do? I don't want crickets, people. Prayer. Okay, if you don't like coming on weekday mornings at 7 o'clock, I can move it back to 7:30 if you want to come a little later before you get to the office. Or maybe your mornings are bad for you because you're doing cattle. You know what? Maybe Susan wants to start one on a Thursday night at 7. Who knows? Yeah, she's looking at me like, dude, don't even bring that up. No. But somebody else could make another prayer session anytime, weekly, daily. It's up to you guys. You do what you want. Any other ways? Prayer was on my list. Good job. Bible does say, go ye into all the world. Oh, wait, that's a song. Somewhere in there it alludes to that, has those. I'll get to that scripture later. How about more sharing? That's more groups, more people coming together and helping each other. Sharing the load once again, not just saying, you know what, I would love to ask Bob and Johnny to help me with that project, but they just don't quite have the same level of what I want. Johnny's too much about safety. Bob can't lift weight. No, I'm not going to ask them to help me. But you know what? I'm cutting out the blessing they would receive from getting to do something. We're not here about perfection, unless it's a perfect heart. That's good. But perfection on getting things done, or like even, setting up pictures, posters downstairs. Wow, I was going to ask, but the last time I had them, they were crooked. Oh. But you know what? They got a blessing out of putting up those crooked papers. They were blessed by that. So let other people enjoy the blessing. Kind of like, I love the fact that Lanny goes down to Mexico and builds houses. My problem with it is, what do? We give him money. How much joy do we have in building those things for people? Ask any of the kids that went on the youth group trips where we went and fixed something. How much joy was there that they received? How blessed were they when the people at the houses said, oh my goodness, I never expected that I would have this again, or that this could be so much better than what it is. If I'm just giving money to these people, it's like, oh, hey, Sean, here's $1,000. Have somebody build you something. Does any of you get to enjoy on that? No, I grab 5, 6 people. We go build it for him. Man, that's great. Why do we invite people to church? Is it just to hear the pastor? I hope not. Yeah, you ought to come hear Richard. Yeah, he rambles. We want to share the blessings. But if we're not excited because we are not blessing other people, we don't invite that many more people. You have to be excited to invite someone along. You ever seen a kid go to a birthday party and come home? Well, how was it? Terrible. I'm not going to go again. They had chocolate cake. I wanted white. They had the punch with, ginger ale in it. I don't like ginger ale. But didn't you get some Hot Wheels and didn't you get some Legos out of it? Yeah, but it was bad cake. No, they're excited. Children don't care what the cake is. We shouldn't be depressed or anything by, the fact that, oh, Richard's there. I'm not going to church Sunday. It's a good week to miss. We should be excited inviting people about what is going on here, about the fact that we are going to have Alpha, that we have these small groups, that people are excited to come, that they're excited to be here. If you're not excited, I've got a baseball bat I need to bring out. To beat them into happiness. Isn't that the way it goes? So, where else are we? Where are the fastest growing churches in the world? Africa. Because they're not afraid. Why do we not share with people? I would ask Carol to come, but I'm afraid she'll say no. Oh, boy, just a dagger to my heart. She said no. She probably got something going on. Does no really hurt that much? I mean, if you're going to the prom, it does. But, I mean, come on, we have to get people going. We have to invite people, bring them in. So, why is Africa the biggest, quickest, most growing? And why is not the U.S.? You know, we have rapidly growing churches here. Anybody know why? Cannibalism. You can laugh, but that's what it is. We are taking people from other churches and putting them into our church, whether it's a bad pastor over there down the block, and we have a good pastor here, so let's go listen to the good pastor. That's how churches here grow. If you look, the number of church people is declining. If the number of people is declining, how can a church be growing if it's not taking from another church? Sorry, that's numbers. That's what I do. So, Africa, they're persecuted for their belief, and yet they're still the most quickly growing churches in the world. And yet we're afraid and we're unsure. Those people get beat or killed for what they do, and yet they still share. We're afraid. Somebody might say no. Come on, test and temptation, people. The test is ask. People will say yes. They will come. The fact that you are thinking about them is part of it. Let's be with one another. So, back to faith being a verb. Does your faith have legs? You know, Matthew said, go and make disciples. That's the go ye into all the world. Go and make disciples. John says, your love for one another will prove you are my disciples. Can others see your faith in action? They see our faith in action by our love for other people. Is faith helping the physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual sides of others? Yes, it is. Is my faith doing that? So John again, I am the living bread that came down out of heaven. If anyone eats of this bread, he will live forever. And are we reaching out to someone? Psalm says, with a strong hand and an outstretched arm. Action, people. That's what we need. So, Satan is using the world to distract us. Susan's anxious, but I don't know why. She lost me. So, Satan's using the world to distract us. He's trying to get us to focus on the wrong things. And that's what this gentleman was saying that Susan had passed on, Atkinson, with hers. It is, let's cancel out the Olympics. They're doing that, we're not going to pay any attention. Well, that's what Satan wants. He wants us to forget things. He's tempting us with the easy way out. The test is to take action, to do something. And so it's the same thought process all along. Don't worry about things, do things. Show that your faith is a verb and let it work for the good of Christ. Become part of a small group that meets weekly. Thursday mornings, they have a Bible study if that's what you want. If you want the study flavored, they even talk about other stuff in there. But they read the Bible and they go right through it. Like I said, Wednesday nights, who knows how long this is going to last. It's scheduled through the end of August. But hey, if they want to keep going, I'll find a way. We'll do something fun. But come, it's fellowship time. That's what the purpose is. To learn about, to care about, to pray with one another. Maybe you want to start another prayer time. Thanks, Susan. Whatever it is, invite people to come to church, to join us. Do you want to come up here and say something, or are you just trying to tell me to shut up? Okay, we're almost done. We'll have to start out small, but that's how all adventures start, is one step at a time. Show your faith. Amen. Let's pray.